Hey y'all, for those of you who don't know, I'm Kenzie. I'm a post-op trans woman, and I've spent a lot of my platform talking about awkward and invasive things that had to do with being a trans woman, especially being a post-op trans woman. And that kind of garnered me the following that I had. Now I've kind of decided to start YouTube rants to specifically talk about trans plight, but in a hyper focused way that allows individuals who are trans to maybe not feel so alone, while simultaneously helping individuals who want to be better allies, because I know that there are people out there who want to defend us, who want to be there for us, but I also know that sometimes they'll say the wrong thing that actually makes us look worse because they're perpetuating something that we don't actually necessarily believe or need defending. So by watching this, the hope here is for you to feel like you're not alone, or to feel like you're better equipped to help us the next time that we need help. This video is going to focus specifically on what it's like to try and find a job as a trans person. And we're not going to necessarily dive into the obvious aspects of it, being like, like being trans in the workplace is scary, and like what if we are outed, or what if people are mean to us, what if there's prejudice, what if there's all these things. The obvious things kind of tie into the overarching idea of what I'm going to get into, but it is not the primary focus, nor is it where we're going to hone in on. So if you're sitting here going, oh, I already have an idea of what they're going to talk about, trust me, unless you are trans, you don't really have an idea what I'm about to talk about. And that specifically revolves around what it's like to just have the aura of existing as a trans person. It's not, you could take the idea of, oh, if someone is cis and they're in line for a job with me and we have the exact same like profile, we're exactly like equipped for it, a lot of the times they're going to pick the cis person. The real question I want to ask yourself is why. And it's not just, oh, I don't want to deal with someone who is trans. Like it is, but it's not it's not even necessarily built around prejudice per se. It's that trans people, and this is the big kicker, are probably going to be the title. Trans people are HR nightmares. We are walking lawsuits. That's what they believe. Not because we're causing problems, but they assume that someone is going to cause problem with us, and we are going to sue the company because of that. And that alone can prevent us, especially from getting managerial positions. We get pigeonholed, especially again from managerial positions, because of how they expect other people to treat us. Not because of who we are, not because of how we treat others, but because of how they assume others are going to treat us because of who we are. So I guess you can tie that in, but don't be fucking nitpicky here, all right? I'm going to give you a great example. My old job, I'm not going to say who they are, but they were nervous to hire someone who was trans. I found this out kind of later on in the job. And what I found out was that my manager in particular fought hard and basically had the how dare you not consider them simply because they are trans. And I ended up getting the job. And when they confessed this to me, what it kind of appeared to be like was that the person above was nervous that if they hired someone who is trans, other companies would not want to make deals with us. Not necessarily, I mean, it could be simply because they don't want to make deals with a trans person. But it could even go beyond that in just the essence of, what if the person we're making deals with, their company, someone at their company says something, and then all of a sudden now I can sue their company, not just our company, as if the only thing we're looking to do is to wait to be assaulted so we can have a lawsuit. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure part of it was truly just the, what if someone doesn't want to talk to someone who is trans? I don't want to ostracize transphobic companies from buying from us. But the deeper thing was, they could accidentally cause problems with companies they are already working with. Because what if one of those people decides to be transphobic? And again, they don't want to have to ostracize a company because someone within them was rude to me. Then on my behalf, they have to do this. They don't want to have to exist in a realm where they have to do it to protect their skin or to protect my integrity. So it's easier just to not hire a trans person because of the possibility of someone being transphobic. And in general, trans people struggle with having to do odd jobs for quite some time to stay afloat. Like, we are very likely to be homeless. We're very likely to be in sex work, especially given the fact that a lot of straight people are obsessed with the queer community when it comes to sensual time. Like, you look at all the top search categories, whether it be trans, lesbian, gay, bisexual, we have been the kings and queens of the industry for a long time, as is. But you also take into account a lot of us cannot get that job. A lot of us are kicked out of our house at a very young age. We're ostracized from our crowd. And because of that, the only options we have left are that because we know it will make us money. So the way that you can utilize this information is like, let's say someone talks about the fact that I think it's like 70 something percent of trans people do sex work at some time in their life. And they're like, see, they're hypersexual. You have the capacity to be able to bring up how difficult it is for trans people to exist, to have a job, to not get kicked out of their house. Again, this happens all the time. You get kicked out of your house, you get a very basic job. Even at those basic jobs, you don't always stand a chance of being able to stay because God forbid something happens. Again, big corporations, look at McDonald's, look at any of these places. Like, yes, they're going to hire you, but you're still on edge all the time. And if you're someone who wants to prosper and succeed after college, good luck getting any managerial position at any company. And to be able to have the understanding resources to understand why this concept exists is going to help you defend us in situations where people perpetuate these nonsensical ideas of why there's a high rate of sex work for trans people and trying to lure that back into the idea of us being sexual in nature, even though, again, we are only sexual in nature because they perpetuate a heavy desire for us and place a sexual nature upon us because they are obsessed with us, especially in all of their fucking sexy time videos. Literally, the only way to flip the script on this is to start transition when you're already at a company, because then they can't fire you because you started transition. They could just never hire you because they don't have to say that's why, but they can't fire you if you already started. So I guess that's your fucking loophole. Pretend to not be trans until you get hired. That's it. Short video. Shorter than usual.